Mayadunna presenting our research paper titled on Engineering Properties of Soils in Sri Lanka. Dr. Mudita Pallewatta and engineers Kokularamanan are the other two authors of this study. I would like to outline my presentation to you with introduction, materials and methodology used for the study, results and discussion, then conclusions, recommendations, finally references. Stability of civil engineering structures such as buildings, bridges, highways, dams are dependent on their foundations. And in some cases, soils used as construction materials. That's why geotechnical properties of foundation soils and soils used for construction materials are important. Before start a project, as you all know, we usually do a pre-feasibility study, where geotechnical investigation is one of the major parts of that. Through a geotechnical investigation, we can determine engineering properties of soils using collected samples. However, this study takes a lot of time and highly expensive, and also require more labor and equipment. This will always limit the extent of a pre-feasibility study and affect the preliminary geotechnical designs. Our main objective of this study is to map soil properties in Sri Lanka and generate database with statistical summary of soil properties, which enable preliminary geotechnical designs. And also this gives an idea about the construction materials in Sri Lanka. Soil properties discussed under this study are particle size distribution, consistency limits, specific gravity, soil compaction properties such as optimum moisture content and maximum dry density, shear strength parameters like cohesion and friction angle. Let's move on to the materials and methods followed in this study. We used nearly 1,900 soil samples scattered within 75 locations to identify the engineering properties of soils. And all these samples had been collected by irrigation department in various soil investigations. Sampling has been done by the means of augering and test pits. Then drilling data. They were used to demarcate the rock layer of above locations. I would like to split my methodology into three, as this study discussed three main outputs, and I'm going to discuss them separately. Firstly, spatial distribution. Our main aspect is to prepare 3D map, including soil details, such as types of soils available, depths and tested parameters, as well as rock depths. There we use both soil and rock data, and inverse distance weighted interpolation technique was applied to transfer point mapping to layer in ArcGIS platform. Secondly, we are going to discuss the variation of each soil properties separately in district-wise. In order to do that, we grouped tested soil data into district-wise and plotted them highlighting different soil categories. Thirdly, we prepared a database by summarizing statistical parameters of soil properties and compared it with soil database introduced by United States Bureau of Reclamation. Next, results and discussion. There I would like to draw your attention towards the spatial distribution where we concentrate on 3D model. We could identify more than one soil type in most of the locations. And I want to emphasize that we only considered the types having more than 75% probability of occurrences. If we consider the vertical variation, as you can see, clay sand and low plastic clay are expanded to depth below 1 meter. Next slide illustrates soil variation in location-wise. As I explained in my previous slide, we could identify more than one soil type in most of the areas. And the most dominant type is clay sand, which is in red color. And this is how those different soil types in a particular area varies with the depth. Let's have a look on the 3D model we created. With the aid of soil and rock data, this model was generated. The purpose of this kind of a model is to grab information on any interested location. And this will ease the detailed geotechnical investigation as well as preliminary engineering designs. Currently, we are in a process of further development of this model in order to detail out information in user-friendly way. Then we will see how the selected properties of soil vary from district to district. Firstly, specific gravity. You can see how it varies in districts and also the variation of specific gravity of different soil types found in each district. Now you can see the variation of plasticity index. This is variation of clay percentage, silt percentage, sand percentage, and this is gravel percentage. Here is how the optimum moisture content vary among the districts. This is about maximum dry density, variation of cohesion. Finally, this is about the friction angle. Now move on to the database created using tested results. Basic statistical parameters were considered for all the available soil types. We could found 18 soil types during this analysis covering all the regions. Maximum, minimum, average, standard deviation, and variance were calculated for all the types. Summary of the results were tabulated and shown in table 2. Finally, we compared the results with the database produced by United States Bureau of Reclamation, and following observations were made. Specific gravity of Sri Lankan soils are lower than that of US soils. Maximum dry density of clay gravel and high plastic clay in Sri Lanka is high compared to US soils. And optimum moisture content follows the opposite pattern to maximum dry density. Variation of values observed for cohesion for soils in Sri Lanka and US is significant. I would like to conclude this study as follows. Limitations have identified relevant to sampling, as augering has to be stopped due to water ingress and appearance of boulders. Other than that, we could find comparatively higher number of SC and CA samples. That is because irrigation department is more concerned on SC and CL as construction materials. Geotechnical investigations have carried out relating to proposed construction projects, and in some cases, soil samples have been tested for suitability of construction purposes. Therefore, samples are tested for soil properties are not collected to any grid pattern. And also, by considering the results, significant variations of the parameters except specific gravity and maximum dry density of the same soil category can be observed. Therefore, averaging the soil properties does make poor sense. Finally, I would like to recommend some approaches which will help to increase the accuracy level of the study. We are planning to expand this database with collaboration of other institutes who are doing soil investigations. Now we are having data relevant to 75 locations. And with this, spatial distribution can be widened and still uncovered areas can be investigated according to a grid pattern, and samples have to be collected for testings. And also there is a possibility of using SPT reports for geotechnical mapping by interpreting shear strength parameters. With all these improvements, we can enhance the accuracy level of the study, and developed model will facilitate preliminary geotechnical designs for future projects without performing costly subsurface explorations. I have come to the end of my presentation. These are the references used for the study. Thank you.